It's Chef Andy, and today I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy Mexican pizza. If you're craving that Mexican pizza from Taco Bell but you're stuck in quarantine, well, this is your next best bet. All you need are a couple simple ingredients. You start with a thin and crispy crust. You can get that off the shelf of any grocery store. Some baby spinach, some refried beans, enchilada sauce, and Mexican cheese. Two more ingredients. You could get some chopped onions, just get a full onion and chop it up, and some chopped olives. You could get these in the can or you could chop them off yourself if you get the whole olives. Start by preheating the oven to 400 degrees, just for about a minute or so it gets nice and warm. Saute the spinach. When you put the spinach on top of the pizza, you want it to be a little smaller. If you put raw spinach just on top, fresh spinach on top, it's going to be way too large and fall off. So you want to make sure we saute the spinach. We're just going to use a little bit of oil, and I'm going to put a little bit of seasoning in here. I'll show you exactly which seasoning I'm using. You don't have to heat it up, but it'll actually be easier to melt your cheese if you heat up both the enchilada sauce as well as the beans. I'm also going to spoon these beans into this while I'm checking on sauteing the spinach. The spinach should be compressing fairly soon. Once it compresses, you'll see it'll get a lot smaller. You could cover this if you want, but I don't mind because it doesn't take that long. I'm also going to spoon the beans in here, and I'm going to heat these up. You don't want it to get too crispy before you put the ingredients. I'm just going to flip it over like that, and I'm ready to go with this. As you can see, after about 2 to 3 minutes of this on medium-high heat, the spinach is compressing. Also keeping track of this. Once this starts to bubble up the enchilada sauce, then you know that's going to be done. And I already see the beans are bubbling too. This is obviously a larger stove, so this one's going to heat faster, but you can see a little couple bubbles here. So these two are almost done. I'm just waiting on the enchilada sauce. The pizza is hot and I'm ready to put everything together. This is bubbling up slowly. This has been bubbled up for a while, and the spinach is compressed is going to be. So as you saw earlier, I had a huge bag of spinach, and now look at how small it became. So now I'm ready to do the whole assembly of the pizza. You have my onions and olives here. So I'm going to go ahead and start by putting the beans on here. Put almost a whole can of beans. I think this will take up about 1 crust. So spread that on generously. I'm going to turn these off as well. This is also a lot healthier than the Mexican pizza because you're using a pizza crust and you're not frying anything. So if you're using a thin crust, it makes it a lot healthier. And all the ingredients in here are fairly healthy, so you don't have to worry about overindulging on this type of pizza. So I'm going to spread this around. Just make sure it goes all the way to the edge of the crust. I want a little area so you could actually grip the crust when you cut it. It'd be nice, because then you could actually hold the pizza. And if you cut it into, not squares, if you cut it into triangles. But if you cut it into squares, then I guess it doesn't really make as much of a difference. You could go all the way to the edge. And I also want to make sure that the edge layers have a little bit of a higher consistency of the beans, and the middle has a little bit more area, because I want, when I put the enchilada sauce on there, it's very soupy, and I want to make sure it kind of goes inwards rather than spreading all over in the pizza and kind of, overfilling into the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. Okay, good to go. And now we're going to go ahead and put the enchilada sauce on there. You have to be kind of careful with how you don't want to use the whole thing. Actually, if you get a smaller can of enchilada sauce, it's better because you don't need a lot of it on there. Because see how soupy it is? You also don't want it to overflow. And make sure you have a pizza pan. If you don't have a pizza pan, it's going to be very difficult to make this because we don't want this to mess up your oven. It'll probably just flow over. And I'm just spooning that around just to make sure there's enough. And if you like a lot of enchilada sauce, that's great, but I don't recommend you spread on the pizza because it's going to get overly soggy. I would highly recommend you just keep that aside, and you could dip your pizza in there, or you could put it on top of your plate. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and put the cheese on. Use as much or as little cheese as you like. Some people like it extra cheesy. I like it moderately cheesy. So I'm just middle of the line. Some people like that layer of cheese when you cut it to just be pouring all over, and it's totally up to you. And this is just Mexican cheese I'm using because I'm making it Mexican style. Make an Italian pizza, use Italian cheese. Cut a good layer of cheese in there. Make sure that's enough. Okay. the sauce, so it's easy to see where you want to put more cheese. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this spinach. I'm going to try to, actually I recommend, well, we're going to go ahead and start with the spatula, but I'm going to move over to getting a fork. That way I could spread this out. So don't worry about these patches of spinach dominating the pizza. It's actually going to get a little bit more even. I'm going to use almost the whole cup of spinach, but not the whole thing, because it looks like we have quite a bit of spinach that we made. So we want to make sure that there's an even layer of spinach. From the aesthetics of it, we want the pizza to look good as well. Of course, I feel like it's going to taste good, because look at how yummy all these ingredients are. I'm just going to try to spread the spinach as much as I can with a fork without destroying the consistency of the pizza. And if you need to put a little bit of cheese just because you move the spinach around, it's completely fine. I think I could use almost all of the spinach, but I'm going to put a little bit more on top because I see some areas that have some spinach that's lacking. And it's okay to eat more spinach, guys. This is very nutritious for you, so this is something you should probably try to put as much as possible. Now I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle the onions here. And like I said, don't worry about the patches of sauce that are showing. You could always put a little bit more cheese on top just to cover that up as well. And then we are going to put some olives on top of that. I like a lot of olives, so I remember when I used to go to Taco Bell and I would get the enchilada. It was like the enchilada of the burrito. They used to put just like 1 or 2 olives, and I always wanted to be more, but I only put 2 or 3. When you're making stuff at home, the beauty of it is to put as little or as much of ingredients as you like, and you make it just to your taste. So that's another advantage of being able to cook at home. Now I see a lot of olives, and I feel like I want to put more onions on there. And that's completely fine as well. And sprinkle the generous serving of onions, and wow, that already starts to look really good here. And I'm pretty much ready to put this right in the oven now. And I'm not going to leave it for more than 6 minutes. It's already baked, and after that I'll show you what it looks like. I recommend that you check on your pizza while it's cooking in the oven, because you want to make sure the cheese is melting, which it'll do fairly quickly since we've warmed up the sauce and beans. But you also want to make sure that your crust doesn't burn. And if that's the case and you feel that it's getting golden brown really quickly, I would reduce your cooking time by about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. Okay, so it's been 6 minutes. I'm going to go ahead. You could actually see, once you open your oven, the crust is golden brown on the edges, so it is all done and it's ready for you to enjoy. The only decision you have to make now is, are you going to cut squares or triangles? I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy Mexican pizza recipe. If you did, please give it a big like and subscribe below. Thank you for watching.